Thank you so much for sticking around. It's been a long day, but a really, really enriching discussion. And now we have sort of the feature presentation where we've had a sort of a theoretical discussion about translation from many different angles. And now we're going to really enjoy listening to Dunya Mikhail reading from her work in both Arabic and English.
Thank you. Thank you, Graham, for organizing with Khalid this wonderful event today. And thank you for the University of Michigan, for the Muslim-American Studies and the Department of English and Comparative Literature for all this. And so honored and happy to be here with you. Thank you for being with me. And actually, because of the time that was left less than before, so I will not read every single poem in bilingual way as I was thinking. So I will read some poems in Arabic for the flavor of the language, because I assume the majority is understanding English more than understanding Arabic. So I will read mostly in English, but a couple poems for the flavor in Arabic. I'll start with the Arabic. Is a new poem. By new, I mean it's not very new, but it's not in the book yet, and it is produced also as a video by Women Forward International as part of their what they called Vanguard project. So I will read it in Arabic, then I'll show the video of it in English. It's so I like, because it's love poem, so I like to start with love poem. قصيدة حب أخرى. لو أملك يوما آخر لكتبت قصيدة حب من كلمة واحدة مكررة آلاف المرات. سأكرر أحبك بعدد الأيام التي مرت ولم أقلها، وأضيف إليها كل المرات عندما قلتها دون ما كلمات. هي حجة لأقولها أكثر. ومثلما يلملم النحل حبوب الطلع سأجمع كل ما قيل بكلمة وأكررها جذرا تربيعيا مرفوعا إلى أس 10. سأحسب حتى يوم صرت حجارة من غضبي منك أو من أجلك، وكذلك كل أيام رحيلي إلى مدن الأرض لأحمل أغنياتي بطاقات بريدية إلى الوحيدين كالشمس. فكل لمسة حب للعالم أنت فيها. سأحسب أيامي كلها حتى 9 أشهر قبل الولادة، لأني أريد أن أقول بأني أحبك أكثر وأكثر.
If I had one more day, I would write a love poem composed of one word,
repeated like binary code. I'll multiply it by the number of days that passed without saying it to you.
And I will add the days when I said it with no words, because I want to say it more.
And like a bee gathering pollen, I'll collect everything ever said in one word, like a square root multiplied by the power of 10.
I count even that day when my anger at you or for you turned me into a stone. And also the days when I was away sending my songs like postcards to the lonely, feeling you in every touch of love I gave to the world.
I'll count all my days, even the 9 months of days before I was born, to say this exponential, growing, I love you.
Okay, so the title here in her feminine sign is one continuation of what we were talking about translation. In Arabic, al-ghariba bitaiha al-marbuta, as if saying the stranger in her ta marbuta. Ta marbuta is a symbol in Arabic language, a circle with two dots over it. We use it to turn masculine word into feminine, so it's an indicator of the feminine words. So that's one of the moments how you would translate this. So kind of the ta marbuta into English. So I called it feminine sign. So I'll read the poem, the title poem, The Stranger in Her Feminine Sign. Everything has gender in Arabic. History is male. Fiction is female. Dream is male. Wish is female. Feminine words are followed by a circle with two dots over it. They call this symbol the Tayyid circle, knotted with wishes which come true only when forgotten or replaced by the wishes of others. In the town of Tayyid wishes, people feel great anticipation because a stranger will arrive today in her feminine sign. Someone says he saw her two dots glittering, refuting another's vision of a cat's eyes hunting in darkness. So scary, he says, how the moon hides in her red circle. Everyone is busy today, listing wishes on pieces of paper they will give to the wind. When the stranger finds them on her way, she'll collect them and adorn them to her circle, tossing off some old wishes to make space for the new. They say the dropped ones will come true. The stranger's lateness worries those who wait. Someone says she's searching for a word to complete a special sentence, the gift she'll bring to town. Another wonders if she seeks a verb or a noun and offers to find her. A third warns that the stranger may turn him with one touch into a flower that blooms for only an instant before it withers and dies. Her circle throbbing with songs that cause sadness and elation and something so obscure, no one has a name for it. Will she complete a verb or a noun phrase or go solo, a word complete on its own? They wonder. When they finally hear footsteps, they know the stranger must be near. Make sure the gate is open, they remind one another. They hear clinking. A bracelet? A chain? This another poem, a song inside a fossil. It's inspired by news I read in 2016. Archaeologists in Taiwan uncovered the ancient remains of a young mother cradling an infant child in 4,800-year-old embrace. Song inside a fossil. She's still looking down at her baby after 4,800 years. Her fossil has the curve of mothers telling endless stories in the dark. There were 3 birds in the cage, she says. 2 died of poisoned water. Though birds don't know what poison means, the survivor has the memory of thirst and of 2 silent birds. If birds' memories are circles, a line must bisect them, tracing their migration to places that are neither homelands nor exiles. But what if the world for birds is all exile till they leave it behind? The day her baby came into the world, she carried water to him in her voice. She sang so close, he could hear her heartbeat like a bass drum. He won't remember the seeds her words scatter, but won't forget the debris of what was scattered from every wing beat recalling her. Birds don't know what coming to this world means, but the bird who survived sings. Is it an elegy for the two silent birds, or a way of coming back to life? Their circular embrace is a song inside a fossil, life in a cage. The time's done. Thank you. Okay. Nisaba in the Sumerian, we Iraqis belong to the Sumerian civilization, our golden time. And Nisaba is the goddess of writing. How shall I call you when you have 100 names? I say Nisaba, and I mean praises for the little things. I mean the big things, or rather the little things with their big shadows. The number to round off the killed ones to 0. The chalk held by a girl who draws for the world a circle with everyone inside. The open wings over the fires. The soft moss briefly visible through the river like the faces of the absentees. The comma between death and life. The everyday practice of the doctor with the stethoscope pressed against the chest, the blue flower in Novalis' dream. I read this 100 years of sleep. I don't want to be the princess. I only want to be her sleep for 100 years. I want to skip the problems of the 21st century. Water pollution, killing virus, nuclear war, capsized boats that carry immigrants away from their homelands. I may miss important inventions and the new songs and weekends when people go out on their dates, followed by one moon. I may open my eyes for a moment to take a glimpse of the universe and its beauty, and then close them again. But what if my loved ones surrounded me and whispered in my ear one by one? I would wake up, of course. Arabic, yeah, okay. I read this bilingually. It's called Amarje. And Amarje is, again, a Sumerian. I'm fond of Sumerian. Some Sumerian word that means, it has two meanings. It means freedom, liberation, and also it means return to the mother. I read it in Arabic first. Oh my God, where is it? 91. Okay, now I found. أمارجي متفرقة مثلنا الحروف السومرية الحرية منقوشة هكذا أما أرجي معناها العودة إلى الأم هكذا إذا نبتت للخرائط حدود الطيور لا تعرف ذلك بعد تترك فضلاتها أينما تشاء أغنياتها تمر كما المشردين بأي مكان الجنة ليس فيها حدود ولا غنائم ولا منتصرون الجنة أمارجي ليس هناك منتصرون أصلا الجحيم ليس فيه حدود ولا خسائر ولا شياطين الجحيم أمارجي ليس هناك شياطين أصلا أمارجي ربما قمر يتبعنا إلى البيت ظل يأثر أخيرا على صاحبه خرزة من خرزات السوار تلتم أو تنكسر معا سر تحفظه الشجرة لمئات السنين ربما ما يحتشد في قلب السجين ما يلمع حول حصاة في حضن الشمس ما يمتزج من قطرات مياه بين الصخور ما يتسرب من الموتى إلى أحلامنا ربما زهرة مرمية في الهواء أو متدلية هناك وحدها، زهرة تعيش وتموت بدوننا. أمارجي، هكذا نعود إلى الأم، غرباء من غرباء، هكذا مثلكم جميعا نتنفس أمارجي، وقبل بكائنا الأول نبكي أمارجي. So I read it in English. Amarje. Scattered like us, the Sumerian letters. Freedom is inscribed Amarje, meaning returning to the mother. This then is how the map grew borders. The birds don't know it yet, leaving their droppings wherever they want. Their songs, like exiles, might pass by anywhere. There are no borders in paradise, neither spoils nor victors. Paradise is a marge, no victors at all. There are no borders in hell, no losses, no demons. Hell is a marge, no demons at all. A marge might be a moon that follows us home, a shadow that stumbles on its true self, a bead from a bracelet, a secret a tree keeps for centuries. Maybe it's what crowds the prisoner's heart, or what shines around the pebbles mixed with drops of water among the rocks, what seeps out from the dead into our dreams. Maybe it's a flower thrown into the air and hangs there alone, a flower that will live and die without us. Amarje, that's how we return to the mother, strangers from strangers. And so, like all of you, we breathe Amarje. And before we shed our first tears, Amarje is what we weep. I think I'm gonna skip that. It's a long video of that, long video of a poem. I'll skip it to the one after it. It's already in bilingual. It's produced by the Iraqi-American Reconciliation Project. I'll skip this one. So I'll go to the one after. Yeah. I'm honored with all these people reading my poem, so honored.
هذه إشارة إذن؟
هذه الورقة المتطايرة؟
الورقة المتطايرة من كتاب النصف محترق.
الكتاب النصف محترق في شارع المتنبي.
شارع المتنبي الذي قطعت أحاديثه قنبلة.
القنبلة التي أحرقت كل تلك الصفحات
كأنها تبحث بيأس عن معنى.
هذه الورقة تحديداً
صعدت ونزلت.
تسللت من بين الأجساد المتناثرة.
لتلتصق بصدرها.
أليست هي الأسطر نفسها تماماً؟
تلك التي أسمعها إياها يوميا.
في مجيئي إليك أحدت كالبدر إذا كان قاطعا للسماء،
وقيامي إن قمت كالأنجم العالية الثابتات في الإبطاء.
A half-burned page in Mutanabbi Street.
Is this a sign then?
This page floating in the air?
This floating page from a half-burned book.
The half-burnt book on Al-Mutanabbi Street.
Al-Mutanabbi Street, whose tales were cut short by a bomb.
The bomb that scattered all those pages.
As if searching desperately for some meaning.
This very page from the ring of the dove.
The one that flew up and fell to the ground again.
The one that crept in among the scattered bodies.
The one now clinging to her chest.
And aren't these the very same lines?
The ones that were once recited to her?
As I come to you, I hurry, like the full moon crossing the sky.
And as I leave, if I leave, I move as slowly as the stars fixed in the sky. In Iraq, after 1,001 nights, someone will talk to someone else. Markets will open for regular customers. Small feet will tickle the giant feet of the tigers. Gulls will spread their wings and no one will fire at them. Women will walk the streets without looking back in fear. Men will give their real names without putting their lives at risk. Children will go to school and come home again. Chickens in the villages won't peck at human flesh on the grass. Disputes will take place without any explosives. A cloud will pass over cars heading to work as usual. A hand will wave to someone leaving or returning. The sunrise will be the same for those who wake and those who never will. And every moment, something ordinary will happen under the sun. So this was one section of 7 sections of the Iraqi Nights. The miracle in these is that the ordinary, that became our miracle. The Iraqis is to live in the ordinary is our miracle. And as Iraqi, I thought we need, like it's fair to have a second life. It's only fair because we had so much war in this first life. But then I thought maybe everyone needs a second life. So I wrote this poem titled Second Life. After this life, we'll need a second life to apply what we learned in the first. We make one mistake after another and need a second life to forget. We hum endlessly as we wait for the departed. We need a second life for the whole song. We go to war and do everything Simon says. We need a second life for love alone. We need time to serve out our prison terms so we can live free in our second life. We write poetry and pass away and need a second life to know the critics' opinions. We rush around all over the place and need a second life to stop and take pictures. Suffering takes time. We need a second life to learn to live without pain. I think I'll end with these tablets, and these tablets, the first communication in history were the Sumerian tablets, and these. And the interesting thing that fascinated me is that they were, in the beginning, it was not language, it was symbols, like it was, they were drawing their thoughts. Can you imagine, like, if we didn't have language, so how would we express thoughts that are not so concrete? So I tried, and I'm not a paint, I don't know how to draw, but I tried to imagine myself in that time and how I express these poems, even poems, how I express them in drawing. And a person like me, because people imagine they are not all good in drawing, but the fact that I'm not good in it, it helps because it's supposed to be primitive drawing. So so I tried these tablets in both as drawing and as writing. So and the Arabic is already there, those who can read Arabic. Most of these have the Arabic in them. So I read the English translation of these, some selection of tablets. I mean, I have a lot of tablets, but I read just a set of around 2 dozens. They're short. Each one is a couple lines, 3, 4, like that. So I'll end with it. So each of my books has some tablets in it. She pressed her ear against the shell. She wanted to hear everything he never told her. A single inch separates their two bodies facing one another in the picture, a framed smile buried beneath the rubble. Whenever you throw stones into the sea, whenever you throw stones into the sea, it sends ripples through me. My heart's quite small, that's why it fills so quickly. Water needs no words to mix with water and fill the blank spaces. The tree doesn't ask why it's not moving to some other forest, nor any other pointless questions. He watches TV while she holds a novel. On the novel's cover, there is a man watching TV and a woman holding a novel. On the first morning of the new year, all of us will look up at the same sun. The shadows the prisoners left on the wall surrounded the jailer and cast light on his loneliness. Homeland, I'm not your mother, so why do you weep in my lap like this every time something hurts you? House keys, identity cards, faded pictures among the bones, all of these are scattered in a single mass grave. Far away from home, that's all that changed in us. Instant messages ignite revolutions. They spark new lives waiting for a country to download, a land that's a little more than a handful of dust. When faced with these words, there are no results that match your search. We cross borders lightly, like clouds. Nothing carries us. But as we move on, we carry rain and an accent and the memory of another place. And then here in her feminine sign, I kind of put them all together, kind of for the reader figure out which one is which with the tablets. So I'll just read some few which are here also, but yeah. I don't care under which sky, just sing your song till the end. She whose song has no beginning or end, she whose voice faded into stars and moons, where is she? Where is she? The butterfly that flew a moment ago over the killed ones was a soul searching for home. Our time together has ripened, now smashed like berries. A little air means so much for the bird. In the air, a full world extends. The clouds gather and then separate. The leaves wave to each other. For the bird, everything hangs in the air. She counts the pebbles by her fingers. The other pebbles underwater are losses outside her hands. The spider makes a home outside itself. It doesn't call it exile. No, I'm not bored of you. The moon too appears every day. The earth is so simple. You can explain it with a tear or a laugh. The earth is so complicated. You need a tear or a laugh to explain it. Thank you.
Thank you so much. We just have time for maybe 1 or 2 questions. Would anybody like to ask Dunya something? All right.
It said 1 centimeter. You translated that to 1 inch. I just want to.
What is it?
It said on the slide. It said 1 centimeter. انت حكيتي 1 inch.
Yeah, that's Karim's translation. See if it was but maybe that's because we use this in the Arab world. I know why he did that, because in the Arab world, I mean, I agreed with him with everything he did. Yeah. But in the Arab world, centimeter is more popular than here in I think he was thinking American way is interesting, right? Because here inch is the way, while there we use centimeter.
Yeah, Dunya, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but as you were reading, like you would read in English and then you read in Arabic, I was wondering if when you write in English, do you write first in Arabic and then translate? Because that somehow makes sense. Somehow I can read you better if I imagine you thinking that way. And also, if you write exclusively in English, what happens to your Arabic thoughts? I'm just wondering what happens to the images you're trying to project.
Yes, I always write in Arabic first, always. But there are some lines, not the whole poem, but some lines, if the cultural connotation, if it deals with, if some lines come in English, not always, such as, for example, ground zero. We don't have this term like ground zero in Arabic. Like it came in English, ground zero. I don't know what is it in Arabic. So something like that comes in English, but as a whole work in general, like starting, I can't even start thinking in English. If I, like now I have like my project, it's a book, is book pro, so I don't know yet, I can't talk about it, it's still, but I'm saying every time when unless I think in Arabic, then ideas come. Ideas come to me in Arabic, but then that was the second writing I said is like another draft of writing, like trying it in another language. And then when I go to that language, then I can diagnose what's happening in Arabic, where I wrote it like just wrote without thinking of some, like how it's automatic, right? Our language, first language is by default. But then the second language makes you more sensitive towards that first language. You think about it, why you did that? How did you write this? The second language opens your mind to what you did in the first. Yes, it happens sometimes. Sometimes I make changes in the Arabic because of when I wrote the second time, or the translation, self-translation in English, it directs me to some weaknesses, flaws in the language, and that's when something is hard to translate, actually, not because it's so powerful, but because it's weak. I say, oh, but there's a problem in it in the original, it's not the translation fault. So I make it more clear, like I was not clear what I was trying to say, for example. So I feel that's why I called it love relation between the two, because they help each other together. They grow together, and that they grow together. They don't impose so much into each other. Like it accepts it. The language accepts that what the second is bringing to it. Yeah.
Do we have one final question, maybe? Yeah. I'm going to bring you the microphone. Yes.
What are your favorite poets in Arabic to read? شعرائك المفضلين حديثين أو قدامى?
You know something, I don't have one, because I always like poems by a poet, not the whole poets. Even me, I don't like my poetry, all of it. I'll throw a lot of my poems away, trust me, because I only like some of them. Also, like, for example, like I used to love Mahmoud Darwish, but then gradually I thought it's too musical. Like then I got like, I don't want. Then I used to love Muhammad Maghut, now I can't read it. I used to love, like, for example, it's kind of not changeable, my taste, but I'm so strict, I'm terrible. I love the Palestinian poet so much, who died, Muhammad Taha, what's his name? Taha Muhammad. I loved him. I fell in love with what he writes so much, because it has this childhood innocence tone. I don't know, it captures this type of, but still not all of what he writes. So always it's not everything. I can't name one person, one poet that I say, oh, that's it, whatever he or she writes, I love. No, so just like me, I like some, like if I do selected poem now, it's gonna be slim.